What's going on, internet? It's your boy ScooterRay, one third of the Triforce of the IWC, or the Triple Threat Brain Trust of the IWC, whatever how you know us as. We are T.A.G. Shout outs to Lip Dizzle and Jaeger Bombastic. And I've been having this little series on our channels. The fuck it, I'm saying it. And this is a kind of a long form of it because fuck it, I'm saying it. We're gonna talk about Triple H's week. Um, SummerSlam was Saturday up until SmackDown Friday. So as far as SummerSlam go, this was his first pay-per-view being in charge of creative. You could definitely tell there was still elements of Vince because they still had to ride everything out. But overall, SummerSlam was not a bad pay-per-view. The beginning with Bianca and Becky, and then that match being a banger, and then we get the return of Bayley. Finally, the role model is back, y'all. Not only that, Bayley came back with some friends. Dakota Kai, yes, that Dakota Kai who was released from the company returned, and from all the other reports, Io Shirai, who is now known as Io Sky, all debuted on SummerSlam, and it was like my brain broke. Like it was bad enough. Bayley came out, then to see Dakota, then Io. My brain just broke. I was just overwhelmed and brain broke. Um, you had that. You had that fun match between Brock and Roman. You had the match between Miz and Logan Paul, Pat McAfee, Happy Corbin, the Usos versus the Profits, Ronda versus Liv, and Austin Theory and Bobby Lashley. I think that is all the matches that was at SummerSlam. Overall, it wasn't a bad pay per view. Especially the last man standing because they had to go all out considering this was like the eighth time or the seventh time Brock and Roman had a match, so they had to make it special because this is technically supposed to be the last time. And yes, I'm using quotes. The last time Brock and Roman are supposed to go at it. Um, but for Trips's first pay per view being in charge of creative, it wasn't bad at all. SummerSlam is actually worth watching. And then of course we go into Raw, and the viewership went up. The viewership went up to 2.2 million, I think. So people were intrigued to see how Trips was going to run Raw. Um, I didn't get a chance to personally watch it, but from seeing all the highlights, it seemed overwhelmingly positive. It seems like pretty soon Seth Rollins looking like he's gonna challenge Roman again because last time Roman did squeak out with a disqualification and kind of just left Seth to the wayside. But other than that, many of the reviews and many of the takeaways is that we can get behind Raw, even though it's still 3 hours. We can get behind Raw if the pacing and if everything is the way it was. You could definitely see the Triple H influence because Tommaso Ciampa is the number one contender to Bobby Lashley's U.S. title. Let's face it, we know that wasn't gonna happen under Vince's regime. Like, so yes. Uh, NXT 2.0, we finally got Kaden and Katana as the NXT Women's Tag Champions. The legit tag team who's been a tag team the whole time finally got the belts. Like, finally. And then throughout the time, there were reports saying, Triple H was just getting started. If you like those surprises, stick around. And did we get one Friday? Friday. Uh, Karrion Kross and Scarlett have returned back to the company, and they jumped Drew. So, and then there was reports saying basically Triple H trying to get all his babies back. You know, Johnny Gargano never signed with another company. There are other wrestlers out there that never fully signed with anywhere else. So Trips might be trying to get his babies back. I almost made a Tyrese joke, but I just want my babies. Yeah, I did it. I'm sorry. Sorry, Tyrese. But Trips trying to get his babies back. You know, saying any of them he can get back. I mean, unfortunately, you know, he can't get Cole, O'Reilly, and Fish back because, you know, they're tied with AEW for a few. I don't know the status of any of the others that are in like Impact, like a Mia Yim and things like that. I know Swerve and Keith Lee got contracts in AEW, so I guess whoever he can get back at the time, because even Braun Strowman or Adam Scherr, he made a comment by saying you never know about him coming back. But Trips is in the process of trying to get his babies back, and it's one of them things to where it's very helpful to just have talent. That was always one of the biggest issues in recent WWE is we kept seeing the same talent. We kept seeing the same people on top, the same main eventers, and this and the other. And when they every now and then branched off the path and had a new main eventer, it was like they was only there for like one pay-per-view and then boom, they went back to the mid card or whatever. It's actually not a bad thing. And not even saying that all of these people even have to be champions. It's just having them featured. Like that's the issue. It's like, how do you have a roster of so many, but you still see like the same 20 bars? That rhymed. But it's not wrong to have a rotation. Like for instance, Friday, they had a gauntlet match. Shayna Baszler is the number one contender to Liv Morgan. Whether she wins or not, when's the last time Shayna had a women's title shot? Exactly. It was WrestleMania 2 years ago during the panoramic times. And even then, she lost to Becky, which was like, why? Why did Shayna lose? She was the most dominant. She was the only woman, actually the only person in Elimination Chamber history to eliminate every opponent. But then she loses in WrestleMania. Okay, cool. Now, that's the good side of what's happening. The bad side are what's the word I want to use? The bad side are the foreseeing. Do we really expect Trips to keep this up all the time? Like, I don't want it to be a thing where if it goes through a dry spell, everybody got pitchforks and torches ready to burn it down again. Like, there's going to be bumps in the road. There's going to be hiccups every now and then. The right man or woman won't win all the time. And we might not get a chance to get everybody we want back. But we still got to give it time. Like the missus just said, the man had a heart attack. We don't need to give him all this pressure. He don't need all the pressure. Like, I'm pretty sure Stephanie wants her husband as healthy as possible. So let's give Trips his time and creative. And if things go wrong, let's not fucking lose it out there on the internet either. Like, IWC, we're some wild people sometimes. Just let the man do his thing. Don't give him added pressures. Because I personally don't expect everything to be just the greatest thing ever. Because, I mean, hell, even NXT Black and Gold, there was still some times where things were a little like, I guess. But overall, yes, the product was good. Let's give it time, people. He had a good week. He had a great week to some. Let's not, expect this all the time. And and if we do get it all the time, let's be grateful. Let's be grateful at the same time. Because when you know who, I'm treating this name like Voldemort. Well, I shouldn't have said the name either. Huh. But when you know who was in power, we was mad all the time. We felt like he couldn't do anything right. That wasn't the case. Vince, yeah, I just said his name. Vince did what Vince felt was right for his company. The man was in power for over 40 years. It was 40 years for a reason. Regardless of how we felt about WWE then, you don't be in power. You don't be around for 40 years. Still at the top, might I ask. Still at the top. So he was doing something right. Whether we liked it or not, he was doing something right. But I think they're going in a better direction because not everything is falling on one person. We got Stephanie and Nick Khan as co-CEOs, Trips being creative, and I forgot his other positions he had. So it's not just one man or woman doing everything. So finally, some delegation that could happen. But Triple H had an amazing week. Let's be happy. Let's be proud. Let's see what else surprises he gives us. Because I mean, if he's trying to get his babies back, let's see who y'all can get back, and let's see how he can integrate them with the product today. And let's even see how the wrestlers of, I won't say the past because it makes them sound like they're old. I don't even say yesteryear, that makes them sound old. Let's see the wrestlers who aren't Triple H's homegrown talent acquiesce to the changes that are made. Because ultimately, I mean, hell, it seemed like Michael Cole, and we know Michael Cole was a Vince guy through and through. It seemed like Michael Cole is having him a ball right now. It seemed like he is enjoying everything, especially having Pat McAfee next to him. It seemed like Michael Cole is just having fun out there. And hell, I see y'all out there in the IWC admitting that Michael Cole is that dude. So, but let's just see. Let's just see. That was week 1. He was trying to get us used to something. Let's just see how it goes from here. And like I said, let's not go crazy and lose our minds if everything doesn't work out the way we want it to. You gotta, I mean, you're writing, he's writing for 3 different shows. 4 if you want to count NXT UK. Something might stumble along the way. But all I can say is it's a new era in the WWE, y'all. And it still feels weird, by the way. Still feels weird because Vince just up and retired. I'm telling you, whatever Shane had in that briefcase back in 2018, 2018, 2019, 2018, whatever Shane had in that briefcase, it must have been detrimental. But it's your boy Scoot, once again representing T.A.G. And fuck it. It's been said. Hey.